Hey everyone, take a look at the new Player of the Week pack on eFootball. It's a national pack, which is just an international week, of course. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description for each player, so if you want to hear about a particular player, just click the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So, start with the lowest rated, and it's our goalie. And we've got Jindřich Staněk. I've probably said that wrong. So, this is our first version of this guy. I've got to be honest, I don't know who he is. I've not heard of him. No face scan. He's been around a while, 29, so yeah, not familiar with this guy. I'm actually Googling him as we speak. I want to know who he plays for. Who does he play for? Slavia Prague. Right, so defensive goalkeeper, that's his normal playing style. He's had a nice boost from his GP card. A bunch of these attributes have been boosted quite a bit, and it's a solid looking goalie. 4 of these core goalkeeping attributes are going to hit the 90 mark with your game plan boost. Parrying won't, but it's not too bad at 84. His arm coverage is about 173 centimeters. That's pretty average, so there's no kind of hidden negative to this guy, as there tends to be with some goalkeepers. But yeah, distribution not great, especially low pass of 50. Be careful with your passing with this guy. Obviously jumping still because the Player of the Week goalkeeper. Unwoven form though, that will compensate to some extent for the fact he doesn't have any club affiliation. So yeah, he's not going to get a live update, and there's no league change you can use him in. So there's 1 or 2 negatives here, but those core goalie attributes looking pretty strong. 6'2", 6'3". In fact, no, it's about 6'3", 6'4". So he's a pretty decent height. His arm coverage is okay. High punt penalty saver, so he's not got low punt. He's not got long throw. Yeah, there's a few slight negatives with this guy. I think mainly the fact that there's no live update, obviously apart from international weeks. And no league change you can use him in, but as a goalkeeper option he does look pretty solid. You can't really complain about this goalie attributes. There's only the parrying, it's not brilliant, but that's not too bad. All the other ones looking good. His physical profile is pretty solid. So yeah, a few slight negatives, no league change for the most part, no live update, but if you need more goalie options, certainly when this guy does get form, and even when he doesn't, like I say, he does have unwavering form at least, you can do a lot worse. It's not an amazing goalie card, but it's certainly a fairly solid one. Then next we have Memphis Depay. So face scan, deep line forward, centre forward as he normally is. No club affiliation. Last I heard, he's still playing for Corinthians in Brazil, but apparently he's not. So you got no club affiliation, which will mean no live update. Although I guess if he joins a team that gets live update, he will get live update. No league change you can use him in though, so that's a negative as well. I've had a couple of Player of the Week versions of Depay. This one is just about the best, I think, overall. I've got one. I've got the lowest rated, actually, and it's a pretty nice card. Always done all right for me. We've had at least 1 or 2 highlights that's slightly better than this one. But this is still good, though. It's a good version of Depay. Compared to his GP card, if he maxes his GP card out of auto allocation, we've lost the point of attacking awareness. So another brilliant decision on eFootball. So you got a striker in Player of the Week. He obviously played really well, so much so that they've made his attacking awareness worse than his GP card. Bit of a boost on his low pass though, a bit better on the ball. His heading and jumping are up. I think they're giving him aero superiority as well. I'll see that in a second. Speeds up a bit, but we've lost the point off acceleration. Okay. Yeah, let's look at those skills there. So yeah, we've gained heading and aero superiority, so presumably he scored a header for the Netherlands. I didn't see it, I don't know. What else we gained or lost? We've lost Marseille turn. They always take Marseille turn away. So Marseille turn's gone, chip shot controller's gone, Rabona and penalty specialist are gone. I think that's what we've lost. And then heading and aerial, through passing, I think, is that new? I thought he already had that. Maybe he didn't. Outside curler. So yeah, we've got a pretty interesting set of skills on him for any kind of centre forward. First time shot is crucial. He's got that. Long range curler, long range shooting, great ones to have as well. Through passing when he's a deep line forward, he will be dipping deep, getting involved in the build up a bit. So through passing is an important one as well. Soul control is a nice one. Yeah, it's a solid looking card. This, it doesn't overly excite me. I don't see many, if any, stats hit. Well, I guess kicking power is going to hit 90 with your game plan boost. Apart from that, I don't think anything else will, but there's quite a few decent attributes. He's going to be decent on the ball. I would say he's one of these players, Depay, who feels a little bit better on the ball than you might think. Certainly in my experience, my one does, and he's got a bit of physical strength as well. That's one thing that you've got to keep a note of with Memphis Depay. Fairly tidy on the ball, bit of pace, bit of balance, but he's also quite physically strong for an attacking player. And like I say, through passing, 8-1 low pass. He's got reasonable finishing attacking awareness if you play him as an SS, but as a centre forward, iffy for me. Even as a deep line forward, he can certainly get away with it, but 83 awareness, 84 finishing, I would like a bit more on both of those. But like I say, when you look at the attributes on the whole, there's nothing really standing out looking amazing. But what I've always found with Depay is he just feels quite nice on the ball, and he's just quite decent at everything. He's a pretty tidy player. He's got unwavering form as well, so again, that will to some extent compensate for the lack of league challenge and the fact that he doesn't seem to be getting live update outside of international challenge. But yeah, good set of skills. Just centre forward, I just don't know if the attacking awareness and finishing are quite good enough, but the fact that he's pretty decent in quite a lot of areas, like I say, I would give him a try if you get this guy and you're not too excited at first glance. Do give him a try, because in my experience, I grew to really like my one. As an SS rather than a centre forward, I think he could be very tidy. Again, you got a bit of everything. The awareness and finishing, not quite so important. He's decent in just about every area for an SS. I think it could be a pretty nice one there with that deep line forward playing style active, if that playing style does work for you. And wide left, that's where I've mostly used my Depay card, to be honest. Again, nothing's amazing. He's not got amazing pace. He's not amazing on the ball. Nothing's really amazing wide left, although the awareness and finishing are pretty good for wide man. But a lot of decent attributes. And like I say, I like mine wide left. Deep line forward playing style won't be active there, so he'll be playing out wide without an active playing style. Again, I will be getting to wingers to cover that in a video soon, the lack of playing style but in that position. But yeah, without an active playing style, like I say, in my experience, he's been pretty tidy. He might not be particularly amazing in any area, but he's pretty decent in a lot. So I think what you got here really is a card where, yes, there's a negative, no league challenge to use him in. It looks like he won't be getting much live update either. But unwavering form, I think that with all the stats, the fact that he's, he's better than the one I've got, and I do like the one I've got. So I think if you get this card, if you don't like the look of him at first, he doesn't look too exciting, do give him a go. I think he could be a decent one for you. Good set of skills there, and he's versatile. A few ways you can use him. The fact they've given him heading and air is not going to make him amazing in the air, because he's not the tallest and he's only got 7-1 jumping, but it might help him a bit here and there. But on the whole, I think you just got a really nice, solid Memphis Depay card here. There is the negative, the lack of use for him without a league challenge and so on, but just in terms of the overall ability, amazing card, no, but a pretty good one with a few different ways you can use him. Yeah, I think you may well find if you get this card, you got a pretty tidy one in your hands. You may well like him. And next we have David Raum, German left back or left midfielder. So they've changed him to a left midfielder. They've also made him semi-proficient as a left wing forward, even though you can't position train these cards, which is useful as ever. Got a face scan. He's not always a cross specialist. This is an interesting one, this one. So he used to be a cross specialist originally in the game. I've got a soft spot for this guy, because when I started playing the game, for ages, this guy was my left midfielder. He had the cross specialist playing style, even though he was actually a left back, and he was only semi-proficient left midfield, and I didn't understand at that point how the semi-proficiency worked, so I just played him left midfield and just thought, oh, he'll be fine. But he was good. He had a devilish cross on him. He did quite well for me as a left mid. But yeah, they changed his playing style. He's now an attacking fullback on his GP card, but they've changed him back to a cross specialist on this version. And they've made him a left midfielder instead of a left back, so they give him a slightly different build to his GP card. We have had a few versions of David Raum up to this point. We've had a few highlights at least. They're all semi-proficient left midfield, so you would need the position trainer to be a left midfielder. A couple of them are cross specialists, fairly similar to this one overall, whether you train them as a left back or a left midfielder, to be honest. But there was one that was a bit better than this one, either as a left back or as a left midfielder. That was a fullback finisher though, interestingly. So yeah, you might, if you got that one, the fullback finisher one, you've got a better one. But apart from that, there's a solid version of Raum. And like I say, that his GP card's got a slightly different build to this because they've made him into a midfielder. What I'm looking at here is, it's one of these cards where if you're going to play him as a fullback, I don't think he's quite good enough defensively. 72 awareness, 73 tackling, yikes, not a bit on the low side for me. But then as a left midfielder, is he good enough on the ball? The attack awareness is pretty poor. I think really this guy, he could do a job as a very attacking left back. He could do a job as a left winger if you're just going to keep it simple on the ball and just ping crosses in. If you're putting a lot of crosses in for your big strikers. But I think as a wing back, if you play like a 3-4-3, maybe a 3-5-2, something like that, he's kind of got a bit of everything as a left wing back with that cross specialist playing style. Could be handy in that kind of a role. But I think that the biggest strength this guy's got is pretty obvious, and it's what I found when I used to use his GP card a few years back. His crossing is great. 87 lofted pass. That's going to hit 90 with the maximum game plan boost. Curls already at 90. He's got a lot of curl, this guy. Looks like he's decent at free kicks as well. Kicking power's not amazing, but he's got enough, and of course he's got pinpoint crossing. So yeah, this guy as a cross specialist is good at what you want him to be good at. He's very, very good at crossing. So yeah, it's going to be a question of how you want to use this guy. if you want to use him as a real attacking left winger, like I say, keep it simple on the ball. He's not going to be a great dribbler. Your attacking awareness isn't great. Just feed him the ball in wide positions, and he will take up those wide positions with the cross-specialist playing style, and he will have a very good cross on him. As a left-back, you're just going to have to be mindful of those defensive attributes being a little bit iffy. If we look at his skills, they have beefed him up defensively with the skills. So we've lost, we lost chop turn, cut behind and turn, rising shot. I hate rising shots anyway, that's good for me. I think low lofted pass is gone. That's a bit of a loss, but we've gained through passing, outside curler, interception and blocker. So really nice additions there. So whether you're playing him as a wide midfielder or as a left back, got a really nice selection of skills there. Long range curler as a left-footed left back is not the most useful one, but I've always said they do seem to suggest that plays a part in free kicks. The way they've added that to people in Player of the Week when they've scored from a free kick. So long range curler might help with those free kicks, make them even better. But in terms of the rest of those skills, they're one touch through, weighted, pinpoint crossing, all very nice ones going forward. Either the midfielder or attacking fullback, and then outside curler is a handy one because he's not particularly two-footed at all. So yeah, it's a very nice addition, outside curler. And then defensively, interception and block are massive additions. Then sliding tackle and fighting spirit already there. Skill-wise, very well equipped, but there are negatives. Inconsistent form, no club affiliation, so you're only getting live update during international weeks if he plays well. No lead change you can use him in. And like I say, whether you play him as a left back or a left mid, left back, awareness and tackling a bit iffy. Left midfield, not brilliant on the ball. Attacking awareness sucks a bit. He's not going to have a great shot on him either. So there are a few negatives in both positions. As a left wing back, there's still going to be some slight negatives in those areas, but as an all-rounder playing as a left wing back, I think that could be the best way to use him. But he does have qualities. I do think this is a solid card. It's just one of these cards where for a lot of people, certain attributes might not be high enough. The playing style might not suit you. But if you do like a cross specialist, you like putting a lot of crosses in, depending on what kind of formation you use and so on. This guy does have a lot of qualities. They have really improved the skill situation. And like I say, the best strength with this guy, he's got pace, he's got stamina. There's a few decent attributes, but it's the crossing. He's going to have a really nice cross on him. That old GP card of mine had a great cross on him, and this is comfortably better. So yeah, this guy is not going to be for everyone, and it's going to be one or two very particular ways to use him to get the most out of him. If he does work for you in one of those ways, it could well be a very handy card to have. It's a solid version of David Raum. Next we have Mikel Merino. We've had quite a few Player of the Week cards in Mikel Merino at this point. It's a booster. It's got a face scan. Let's boost him up. What's the booster give us? Ball control, finishing, kicking, but that is shooting all day long. Yep, shooting. I'm pretty sure he's still not had his face scan updated in a long time as well. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. Anyways, so box-to-box centre midfield is what he normally is. Weak for accuracy +1. That's good. We have had a bunch of Player of the Week versions of him, as I mentioned. A couple of whole player ones, a couple of deep line forward ones. When this one's got his boost, he's just about the best overall in terms of overall rating and stuff, but the stats are obviously shuffled around from one to another. He's had a few very different kind of builds on Player of the Week cards, a couple of centre forward ones. This one can play centre forward. They must have added that to his GP card. If you look at his trainable version, he's had a few highlight cards. Not a massive difference overall between this one. Without the boost, at least. With the boost, it's just about the highest rated compared to his highlight cards, though. But what I would say with his highlight cards is that he has better passing, and you can't train this card, and that's the one negative that stands out for me with this card. You've got a centre midfielder with 83 low pass. Yes, he's in Player of the Week because he scored a hat-trick, so it's more about the shooting than the passing, but if he's a centre midfielder, he's a centre midfielder, and the one thing you need a centre midfielder to do more than anything else is pass the ball. And yes, he does, I assume. Yeah, he's got one touch and through, but is 83 low pass high enough for you? For me, that's a bit iffy. That's really iffy. You're going to be very careful with the passing with this guy. But it is, like I say, in terms of the overall rating, there's no doubt in the overall ability. But I'd like to know how much of his overall rating comes from his finishing, though, because that finishing for a centre midfielder is really high. Even without the boost, 83 is great on a centre mid. It goes up to 86 fully boosted. The way they've shuffled him around from his GP card, obviously they boosted the awareness and finishing because he scored a hat-trick. That's pretty obvious. They beefed his pace up a bit more physical contact and bounce as well. That's pretty much the gist of it. So yeah, like I say, the passing is a big concern for me. Defensively is not brilliant either. Defensive awareness 72, attacking 76. Yeah, a little bit iffy. It's going to come down to how you use this guy, what kind of midfield setup you've got. If you're going to need at least one other midfielder in there doing a lot of the defensive work, maybe some kind of anchorman or destroyer behind him, because this guy is not going to be able to handle too much defensive responsibility. He's not terrible, but awareness especially is not great, and tackling I want that to be in the 80s, ideally on a centre mid, at least 80 plus. Like I say, that passing concerns me, but pretty comfortable on the ball though. Obviously, the awareness and finishing for a centre mid are fantastic. He's decent in the air for a centre mid as well. Has he got aerial? Yeah, he's got aerial. He's got reasonable heading and jumping. He's about 6'2", 6'3". So yeah, decent in the air for centre mid. He might win a few high balls from long balls forward from goalies and so on. Stamina's okay. I'd like a bit more stamina on centre mid. I don't want to start sounding too negative about this card, but yeah, there are one or two concerns there for me as a centre mid. Got unwavering form though. Can use him in the English League Challenge. Bit of versatility maybe. Could use him as a centre forward. I mean, the awareness and finishing certainly when boosted, kind of around the borderline for me. I mean, finishing 83 without the boost is a bit iffy. Up to 86 when he's fully boosted. Awareness 84. I think you can get away with him as a centre forward. He won't have an active playing style. On the ball, pretty tidy for a striker. Passing, pretty nice for a striker. He's got a bit of aerial ability. Bit of everything, really. Could be an interesting option as a centre forward. Let's have a quick look at the skills there. What they've done with the skills. They have removed rising shots again. Again, I personally don't like that skill anyway. Weighted pass looks like it's gone. That's a bit of a loss, especially in the centre mid. I think sliding tackle has gone. But they've added long range curler, long range shooting, and I think fighting spirit's new. So interesting such skills. He's already got first time shot. I think they added to his GP card not too long ago. So got heading and aerial. They've got first time shot, long range curl, long range shooting. Got one touch pass, through passing, outside curls. Handle. He's not overly too fitted, is he? Not massively anyway. It's still got a little bit of defensive ability there. Interception. And the defensive attributes aren't too bad. Yeah, for me, I don't fancy him as a centre midfielder. I don't think the passing is good enough. I think he's a bit suspect defensively. But I think he could be more interesting as a centre forward. He won't have an active playing style. Again, I will be testing players out as a striker without an active playing style at some point. I need to get back onto those videos when I have enough time to do that. But I have used strikers without an active playing style before. I've never had an issue with it. This guy is a centre forward without an active playing style. I think could be interesting. Like I said, I don't think it'll be amazing. I don't think the awareness and finishing are too great, but they're similar level to Memphis Depay. And as I was saying with Memphis Depay, Depay's got a bit of everything, and he could well be very decent there. I think with Mikel Merino, it could be the same thing. The awareness and finishing, if they work for you, looking at all the other attributes, could be handy. He's got nice passing. He would kind of be like a deep line forward, even though he won't have that active playing style. He will make attacking runs. Like I said, I've used strikers without an active playing style before, and they've been fine for me. I think as a striker, this guy could be a very different option. He's got qualities in some areas that strikers don't tend to, like the passing primarily. He's got a bit of everything. He's got a good skill set as well. So yeah, it's an interesting card. This versatility with a couple of roles he can play. I don't personally rate him as a centre fielder for the reasons I've explained. But you might find that passing is okay. If that passing is okay for you, you're not too worried about the defensive ability. He could certainly work for you. It's just for me personally, I don't rate him there, but as a striker, I think it'd be very interesting. So a couple of ways you could use him. I personally think it'd be better as a striker. For the English League Challenge, it could be a very handy one. It's one of the highest rated Marina cards for sure. You compare all the specific kind of attributes to other versions, it might not necessarily be the best as a centre midfielder, certainly, but it's certainly one of the more interesting ones. It's got an interesting profile. So yeah, at least for the English League Challenge and in general, it could well be a pretty handy one to pick up. You may well find he works well for you in one of these two positions. And now we've got Manuel Akanji, who I keep forgetting he's joined Inter Milan. So Akanji is now an Inter Milan player. He's probably due a face scan up there, isn't he? His hair's been different for ages now. So he's a build-up this time. We've had a couple of Player of the Week cards of Akanji. They're both destroyers, and this one's better essentially because those two previous Player of the Week cards have terrible defensive engagement, but this one doesn't. There's no weakness with the defensive attributes in this one. So this is his best Player of the Week card. We have had a few slightly high-rated highlight cards of him, including a fairly recent number 9 contract one from when we had the anniversary campaign and stuff. His highlights all destroys as well, though, I think. And one thing with this card is that it's an Italian League card, obviously, because he plays for Inter now. So it's an option for the Italian League Challenge, whereas his previous one's in Man City. So yeah, it's looking like a solid Akanji card. It's not the best version of it that we've had, but it's certainly a good one. It's a pretty boring boost, though, to be honest. It's a pretty kind of regular Player of the Week centre-back boost. He's had a boost to his pace and stamina. Apart from that, not a lot going on, really. Nothing really major. I don't see any major changes there. But yeah, build-up centre-back, Italian League option, unwavering form. And he's looking pretty solid. The defensive attributes are good. Pace is pretty decent for a centre-back. Jumping and physical contact, are they high enough? I don't think they're bad, but I'd like them to be a little bit higher if I'm going to nitpick. I mean, he's not overly tall, 6'1", 6'2". 86 jumping, yeah, it'll be okay in the air. Physical strength is okay, but I'd like a bit more there if I was going to be greedy. Down the left is pretty average for centre-back. Heading's kind of okay, it's not amazing. Stamina decent with the boost he's had. Yeah, it's a solid centre-back. There's solid centre-back option for the Italian League Challenge. Off they're done skill-wise. Looks like they've just thrown in sliding, tackling, fighting spirit, and that's about it really. So you've got heading and aerial, and then man marking, search and blocker, sliding, acrobatic, fighting spirit. That looks to me like a complete set of skills for a centre-back, at least defensively, and then you got the bonus of weighted pass. And long throw, if you ever want to take long throws with your centre-back, which I personally wouldn't because I don't want them going out of position. But yeah, on the whole, for centre-back, good selection of skills, good defensively, everything's pretty good. Maybe Zario and physically, I'd like him to be a little bit better, but that's the only real slight negative for me. It's not a major one. He's got unwavering form, good option for the Italian League Challenge. I like a build-up. It's one of the better versions we've had of Akanji, and I think that's a very nice, solid centre-back option. And now we have Booster Retegui, who no longer has a club affiliation because he's getting some oil money now. So, yeah, no longer usable in the Italian League Challenge. That's a negative. Only standard form as well. So, no League Challenge to use him in. And it's only international weeks he's going to get live update. So, we've got a few negatives with this Retegui card already. But he's a booster. He's got a face scan, of course. What does the booster give us? Ooh, speed, kicking power. I don't know what that is. Strength. Okay, so he's got a boost to his strength when he's on A form. How often is he going to be on A form though? That's the question, because he's not getting live update out of international weeks. But it's a solid version of Retegui. You've had a few trending versions. We had a player of the season card of him. It's pretty similar to this one, to be honest. We've had a couple of regular player of the week trending cards. Not a million miles away, to be honest. I would say though that his finishing tends to be a bit higher on previous trending cards. In terms of highlight cards, trainable cards, his best highlight cards are pretty similar when this card isn't boosted, but when you get the boost on this one, it does give it a slight edge. So this is a pretty good solid version of Retegui. From a GP card though, we've lost 2 points of attacking awareness. So again, if a striker gets some player of the week, obviously he's got less attacking awareness than he normally does. Although we gained 1 point on finishing. Happy days. But we've had a very nice boost to his on the ball and passing attributes, so that's very nice, very welcome. Boost to his defensive attributes, of course. Boost to his pace. We've lost 7 points off balance. That absolutely sucks, but it's not the first time they've done that on an attacking player and player of the week. What have they done skill-wise? They have removed chip shot control, knuckle shot, I think. I think they've taken acrobatic finishing away. Again, they've started doing that quite a lot on attacking players and strikers, especially in player of the week. That's a good skill. Why do they keep taking that away? I mean, take Marseille turn away. They normally take Marseille turn away. Take that away. Give us acrobatic finishing back. Anyway, and I think penalty specialist gone as well. But we've gained through passing. That's a nice addition. Outside curler. Yeah, he's somewhat two-footed, but outside curler is a welcome addition. And then the last two, aerial superiority and fighting spirit. So I didn't already have aerial superiority unless eFootball has lying to me, which it might be. So we've got heading and aerial. So in the air, that's good, albeit we've lost acrobatic finishing. Fighting spirit always helps. But yeah, got a pretty good selection there. Would be nice if we had acrobatic finishing. Would be nice if we had long range curve. So not an ideal situation, but through passing is a nice addition there. Aerial, if he doesn't already have aerial, that's a nice addition. Although his jumping's not amazing, 6'1", so yeah. He won't be dominant in the air, but if you put a cross on his head, he should be all right. Heading's not amazing, though, it's 79. Yeah, it's kind of a solid all-round striker, this. It doesn't overly excite me. It is a good version of Retegui compared to other versions. The finishing could be a little bit better. He has had a nice boost to some of these technicals on the ball. Got a bit of pace. Not the most important thing for a fox in the box, but it always helps. Bit of kicking power behind his shots, that definitely will help. But yeah, he's kind of a good solid all-rounder. Through passing will help. His passing is not going to be amazing, but for a striker it will be decent. Yeah, it's a solid centre forward. It's a shame there's no club affiliation anymore. Can't use him in any league challenges. He's rarely going to get ALB form. So yeah, he's not going to get the booster very often. It's a bit of a shame, really. I can't say it's a bad card. I don't want to sound negative about it, but yeah, with the lack of the club affiliation now, nerfing his balance, taking away acrobatic finishing, there are some negatives, but there are positives, like I say. So certainly, if you do fancy, you do need more striker options, especially if you rock an Italy squad in the national team challenge, or in general, it could well be a very solid striker option to pick up. But as much as it's a good card, plenty of positives there. There are a few negatives as well. So not the most exciting version of Retegui, primarily because of the lack of club affiliation, really. But there are qualities there, and certainly, if you don't have a good version of him and you fancy another striker option, he could be a solid one to pick up for sure. And next we have one of my boys. We've got Bruno Guimarães, and he is a box-to-box this time. He's got a face scan, of course, that needs updating. They need to give him and Joel Linton better hair. They always bleach their hair, proper bleach blonde. But anyway, before I start rambling, unwavering form, box-to-box this time. We've had a few play the week versions of Bruno. We've had a couple of orchestrators. We've had one Anchorman, which I've got. This time is a box-to-box. The overall, in terms of the overall ability, pretty similar to his previous Player of the Week cards, but the biggest difference is that this one's easily the quickest. Obviously, one or two attributes can be higher in other areas on those other previous versions. They're all about the same overall, but this is quicker than the previous versions of Bruno. He's around the same level as his best highlight cards, to be honest, but if you look at the stats, he does benefit a lot from that pace boost. I would say if you look at his best highlight cards, if you don't mind the fact that they're not as quick as this one, he does tend to be better in other areas, some of the technicals and the defending and stuff. So even though the overall rating makes it look like he's around about the same level as his best highlight cards, I don't think he is actually. I think it's just that pace. I think it's a bit deceiving, the overall rating. I think his best highlight cards are better than this one, but it's a good card. It's good. It's got a solid kind of well balanced kind of build. He's got a bit of everything. They boost him a bit on the ball. His awareness and finishing are up. They've nerfed his defensives, so he's obviously played better going forward, not so much defensively. I don't know why I didn't make him a centre midfielder if that's the way he played, but yeah, they've nerfed his defensives, but the pace has had a boost, as I mentioned. Kicking power's had a bit of a boost. Physical contact's had a bit of a boost. Yeah, he's looking pretty solid around. Like I say, he's got a bit of everything, really. Got skill-wise, what they've done skill-wise, so first time shot is new. I know that for sure. We've not lost Marseille Turn. eFootball Hub seems to suggest we've lost Marseille Turn, unless I read that wrong, but we've lost Sombrero. We've lost low lofted pass. That's a bit of a shame for a midfielder. We've lost gamesmanship. You can't take gamesmanship away from Bruno. He wins about 30 fouls a game. But yeah, first time shot is new. One touch pass is new. That's a very nice addition. He doesn't always have that. We've gained interception and we've gained fighting spirit, which he should have already had, to be fair. He should always have that, Bruno. But yeah, pretty solid section skills for a centre mid. I think, yeah, ultimately, I think what we're looking at here is we're looking at a centre midfield. His position is still his normal position of defensive midfield. I don't think that's what he is. They've nerfed his defensives. They've made him a bit better offensively with some of the attributes and skills. I think with this card, yes, he can still do a job as a DMF, but I think primarily in some kind of double pivot. I don't think you can give this guy all the defensive responsibility in the midfield. You need one other midfielder alongside him at least. But I think this card primarily is a centre midfielder with a box-to-box playing style with a bit of everything. Good stamina. Down the right, he's got a bit of everything else. Defensively, he's fine. Down the left, yeah, it's just a solid centre midfielder for me. That skill set, only interception and slide and tackle defensively. So like I say, I don't see him as a proper DMF. I think he's an all-rounder. He's maybe in a double pivot, but primarily he's a centre midfielder. First time shot thrown into the mix, one touch pass. He's going to be good on the ball as he always is. Got a little bit of defensive ability. He's got a bit of everything. I don't think this is the best Bruno card. Like I say, it's up there rating-wise with the better ones, but I think it's just a good all-rounder, this one. I think this is just a more offensive Bruno Guimarães than we've had previously, and that's the big positive really for me with this card. If you wanted a more offensive Bruno Guimarães, I think that's what you've got. If you like a Bruno card to be really defensive and be more of an out-and-out defensive mid, this is definitely not the best version for you, but this is obviously the way he played this week, and I think if you do fancy having this kind of build on the Bruno card as a centre midfielder with a bit of everything, that's a very solid one. Good option for the English League Challenge. He's got unwavering form. He does tend to get a lot of AMB form. And if you rock a Brazil squad as well, it could be very handy for that. So yeah, in some ways not the best Bruno card that we've had, but it is one of the highest rated ones. And as a more offensive minded centre midfielder who's got a bit of everything, it could be a very tidy card to pick up for sure. Next we have Reece James. We've had a fair few Reece James cards up to this point. So he's got a face scan, another booster. The booster gives us, that's crossing, isn't it, for sure? Speed, stamina, lofted curl. Yeah, crossing, because obviously stamina plays a big part in your ability to cross the ball. So attacking fullback. We've had a few trending versions of Reece James, like I say. We've had a player of the season card and a player of the week card that are both pretty similar to this. Player of the week one, not so good defensively actually. The defensive one's a bit iffy, but it had more low pass. Overall about the same. Like I say, the player of the season one pretty similar. It's about as good as any highlight version we've had of Reece James when he's got the boost. If anything, it might even be better than any of his highlight cards. It's around about the same level as his better ones. It's a good version of him. I don't see any real weakness apart from that bounce, which is always a bit poor on Reece James, to be honest. If you look at his GP card, he auto-allocate his GP card. We've lost some pace, but we get most of those points back when he's in A form. So when he's in A form, this Player of the Week card is almost has got as much speed as his GP card. That makes perfect sense. But we've gained some acceleration though. We've lost about 6 off kicking power. We've still got decent kicking power, but that's a bit harsh. Nice boost on his defensives. That's pretty much it, really. Nothing else major going on. So yeah, like I say, on the ball, he's around about on the mark from me. He's going to get to about the 80 mark for those on-ball attributes. I think for an attacking fullback, that's fine. Low pass likewise. Lofted is fantastic, even without the boost, 87. So when you get your maximum game plan boost, he's going to be 90 plus for lofted pass. Got loads of curl on him as well. Good kicking power, even though they've nerfed his kicking power. Yeah, this guy's going to have really good crossing. The pace isn't amazing without the boost, and even with the boost, it's not that great, but I think he's quick enough with the boost. When he's not got the boost, you might feel he's a little bit on the slow side, but he's at least in +3 territory for speed and acceleration. So with a good enough manager, he'll be 88 for speed and acceleration. Good physical strength for a fullback. Like I said, the balance is a bit iffy though. He does feel a little bit clunky at times. Stamina's pretty much on the mark. What is the skill situation? The skill situation is we've again lost Marseille turn and rising shots and low lofted pass. 3 of our favourite skills to lose and Player of the Week cards. What else we lost? We lost captaincy. I think we lost captaincy. We've gained 1 touch pass and through passing. Nice. Man marking. Nice. And blocker. Very interesting. Okay, so again, we've got a really nice set of skills in a fullback. 1 touch pass, through passing, weighted pass, pinpoint crossing, all going forward. Soul control is a nice one to have. Didn't realise you already had that. Outside curves a hand when he's not very 2-footed, is he? No. So yeah, outside curves is a nice one to have. But defensively though, a couple of nice additions there. Man marking, interception blocker. Those are 3 defensive skills I like to always have in a fullback. Fighting spirit always helps in all players, especially defenders. Yeah, good sets of skills, good solid all-round build. It's just the balance is always a bit iffy on Reece James, and he could do with a little bit more pace maybe, but on the whole, I think especially with the A-form boost, this is a solid attacking right back. Could be a very good option for the English League Challenge or for your England squad. But just in general, it's a good attacking fullback this. If you like using defensive fullbacks, it might not be for you, but you can certainly do a job if you gave him the defensive instruction. But certainly as an attacking fullback, with that crossing in particular, he's going to have a really, really good cross on him. I wouldn't like him as a right midfielder. I think he's a bit lacking with some of these attributes down the left-hand side, but as a right back, certainly, with the attacking fullback playing style, if that works for you. Fantastic cross on him. Looks solid defensively. Some very good additions with those skills, especially defensively. I mean, all the skills they've given him are good additions there. Yeah, this is a good version of Reece James. This, I think it's a very good, solid attacking right back. Next we have Kevin De Bruyne. Creative playmaker as usual, attack midfielder as usual. Got his face scan with that somewhat wild hair. He's got a booster. What's the boost going to give us? Attacking awareness, ball control, low pass, kicking power. I have no idea what that is. Offense creator. Okie dokie. So, this is a tidy looking version of De Bruyne. It looks pretty tidy. It's not the best Player of the Week version we've had of De Bruyne. Quite a few. We've had one striker version that I picked up on at least one of my accounts. He's around about the same level in terms of his overall ability as the better Player of the Week cards, even if it's not the best. Like I said, the stats do get shuffled around from one to another with Player of the Week cards. We've had better trainable versions, a couple of showtimes, obviously, but we've had other highlight cards a bit better than this one. It is pretty good, though. It kind of stacks up pretty well on the whole against the better highlight cards. It's got a bit more pace, certainly, than a lot of them have, but not quite as much on some of these technicals. So, yeah, you might think this is a nice version compared to any highlight card you might have of him, but you might not. It depends on where your preferences lie with the attributes. From his GP card, unsurprisingly, they boosted his pace. Physical contacts have a nice boost as well. They've not boosted his defensive attributes much. Wow, that's quite amazing. An attacking player and Player of the Week, and they've not boosted his defensive stats much. Wow, interesting. Ball control. I'm still in shock at that. Ball control has been nerfed. They've taken 5 points off his ball control, but when he's on A form, he gets 3 of those points back. Excellent. So when he's on A form, his Player of the Week card has almost got as good as ball control as his GP card. What else have they done? They've taken a bunch off his low and lofted pass, but again, we get some of those points back on low pass when he's on A form. What is the deal with this? I don't know. But anyway, that's fine though. His low pass is already good enough, I guess. But annoying that you need to get the A form to get some of those points back. But yeah, nice boost to his finishing though. There's a positive. Apart from that, I don't see anything major going on. Like I say, it's not the best version of De Bruyne, but it's a pretty good one. You might like I say, you might have a version that's got slightly better attributes in certain areas, technicals primarily, but there's not many versions with a 80 plus speed and acceleration. And if we go to the skills, what we're going to find with the skills. So again, it looks like Marseille turn is gone. Cut behind and turn. I think we've lost a lot of the pass. And have we gained double touch? He must have done a double touch. If you like doing double touches, happy days. He's got double touch. Long range curler. It looks like it's new. That's a very nice addition on De Bruyne. Very nice indeed. And I think first time shot is new. And that's about it. Got one touch and through, weighted pass, all those already. Pinpoint crossing likewise, outside curler. But yeah, long range curler especially, that's a very nice addition on De Bruyne. And yeah, like I say, is it the best version of him? No, but he's decent enough on the ball, especially on A form. Attacking is pretty good. Passing, even though I've nerfed it for some reason, is still good. Finishing's a nice boost. And he's got long range curl, long range shooting, and first time shot. So he's got the shooting skills. He's going to have a very nice shot on him with some kicking power behind his shots as well. He does have a really nice shot in my experience, De Bruyne. Bit more pace than normal, bit more physical strength than normal. Balance isn't amazing, but yeah, on the whole, as a creative playmaker, attack midfielder, it's a tidy card. It's a good version of De Bruyne. Like I say though, there's been a lot of versions. If you've got a version already, you might have a version that you prefer. It depends on where you prioritize, you know, what kind of where your priorities lie in terms of different attributes. This might not have the kind of boost that you'd like on a De Bruyne card, but it is a good one. He's a bit quicker than he tends to be. Nice he's had a long range curler added as much as anything. So yeah, there are positives with this card. And as I said with the previous De Bruyne card, when he was in that new transfers pack, it's a card that you can use in the Italian League Challenge. Most of his previous cards are English League cards, obviously because they're Man City cards. But this one you can use in the Italian League Challenge. So there's some real positives with this card. Maybe it's not the best version of De Bruyne, but certainly it's a pretty good one. And yeah, I imagine a fair few people will be pretty pleased if they get this card. And now we have this guy. It's Mr. Messi. Classic number 10, Mr. Messi. So got a face scan, surprisingly enough. SS, that's his normal playing style, I think, these days. He's normally a creative playmaker. They've changed him from a playmaker to a classic number 10. We have had, as you're probably aware, quite a few versions of Messi up to this point. We've had quite a few Player of the Week cards, mostly around the same kind of level, to be honest, all kind of shuffled around a bit. If you got the Player of the Week card from the Club World Cup, that was a deep line forward, but apart from that, very similar to this card, to be honest. If you got that Club World Cup Player of the Week card of Messi, and if you're okay with the playing style, you don't need this one because there's not a lot of difference really. Obviously he's had loads of legend cards, that goes without saying, and of course they're better than this one. If you look at his highlight cards, you've had a few highlights. They tend to be better than this one, of course, including most of his free cards, a bit better overall, to be honest, but different playing styles. Stats are shuffled around a bit. You've got more speed on this one than most of his highlights, to be honest, especially his free ones. And yeah, like I say, different playing styles. I like that classic number 10 playing style. It's interesting. It's the same playing style as the starter pack, that paid pack that you can buy that came out with the recent major update. It goes without saying that one's better than this one. It's got permanent B form, but it's really just a bit better on the ball. It's got a few more points on his on the ball attributes and a bit more physical strength. Apart from that, there's not a lot of difference really. So yes, that card is better and it's got permanent B form, but outside of that, there's not a lot else you're getting for the paid one really. So this is a decent alternative to the one in that starter pack really, even if it's not quite as good. But yeah, it's one of the quicker free to play versions of Messi. That's one big positive with this card. And I don't know if we've had any classic number 10 versions previously apart from that starter pack one. Maybe we've had one in Player of the Week possibly. But yeah, interesting version to me because he's got a bit of pace and he's got that classic 10 playing style, which I do personally like. It will be active attack midfield and SS, and basically a classic number 10 will make good attacking runs. They'll get into good attacking positions, but they just won't track back. I don't mind that personally. The big positive with that is that they retain their stamina. They never get tired. But obviously, if you like your attacking players to track back a bit, they might not be for you. But I like a classic number 10 as an SS just behind my striker. You can still play him as a centre forward without an active playing style. The attacking awareness is fine. Finishing is not quite as high as I'd like it to be on a striker, but he can get away with that. Obviously, he's fantastic on the ball and with his passing for a centre forward. He's got a bit more pace than he normally does. It could be a decent centre forward version of Messi for you, to be honest. Wide right, I think in general you probably want a bit more pace than a wide man. But if you like a version of Messi, you don't have any other legend versions. This might be one of the quicker versions that's available to you of Messi. So it might be an appealing version out wide again without an active playing style. But yeah, on the whole, it's not one of the best versions. You know, most versions of Messi, they tend to be better on the ball. Those on the ball attributes especially tend to be better. They have nerfed him a bit on the ball and taken a bunch of points away from his on the ball attributes. They've boosted his passing and finishing a bit though, it seems. They've only put 2 points on his defending. Wow. So 2 attacking players and player of the week both haven't had much of a boost to their defensive attributes. That's wild. Crazy. But yeah, boost to his speed, boost to his kicking power. Physical contact's been boosted a bit. Stamina as well. We've lost a few points off balance, but yeah, I don't think you're going to notice that. He's still got great balance. Yeah, on the whole, like I say, in some ways, I mean, overall, it's not as good as most Messi cards. Certainly the Legends, but and of course, most versions of Messi tend to be better on the ball, but it's still a decent version of him. And like I say, with that playing style, a bit more speed than normal, it could still be an interesting version for a lot of people. Unraven form, there's no league challenge for him. Obviously, he's playing in the MLS now. Skill-wise, have they done much? I think dipping shot and penalty specialist are the 2 that we've lost here. Outside curler, is that new? Interesting. Yeah, I think it is new. And fighting spirit. So the answer is no, really. They've not changed a great deal, but I think those two changes there, dipping and penalty, have gone. Outside curler and fighting spirit, that's a pretty nice trade, to be fair. But you've got most of the skills you expect from Messi. Long range curl, long range shooting, and first time shot. He's got the shooting skills, then one-touch pass for his passing. So yeah, is it the best version of Adam Messi? Obviously not. Is it one of the better versions? Probably not. But it's a slightly different build. It's a slightly different playing style. It's not a common playing style for Messi. I only had it once, maybe twice before. He's got more speed than he normally does. And yeah, I think I'm not going to say it's one of the better versions of Messi, but I'd say it's one of the more interesting ones. And to be honest, I personally quite fancy it because I've been looking at that starter pack, and I've said a few times on stream, when that starter pack gets reduced to only a few quid, maybe it's a £5, which is what they tend to do towards the end of the game's life cycle. I was planning on picking it up. If I get this version, I might not bother because this is a Classic 10 as well. I like that playing style. So having a Classic 10 Messi for me, just behind the attack, quite appealing. So yeah, not going to be the most appealing Messi for everyone, especially if you've got any of the Legend cards because they are better than this one. But it's a little bit different, this version. And yeah, I think for some people it could be quite appealing, even if a lot of people have probably got a better version of Messi at this point. So next up we have Tchouaméni. He's an anchorman. He's got a boost around a face gun. What's the boost to give us? Passing? It must be passing, I guess. Yeah, passing. Interesting they give him the passing boost because that kind of implies that his passing was really good. But even when he's got the passing boost active, 84 low pass isn't exactly amazing. But yeah, it looks like a solid version of Tchouaméni. So we've had a few Player of the Week versions of Tchouaméni. This one, it's kind of, so if you compare it to previous Player of the Week cards, he doesn't look quite so good technically as in terms of the on the ball kind of and passing attributes compared to other Player of the Week versions. But we look stronger defensively, and we've got more pace as well. It's the quickest Player of the Week version we've had of Tchouaméni, it seems. You look at the trainable version of Tchouaméni, he's kind of up there in terms of the overall ability. The best trainable we've had, as far as I can see, is that match pass one. I'm still a bit surprised, as most people were at the time. They gave us a Tchouaméni card that was a kind of, you know, a free-to-play version of Tchouaméni that was so good. It really is a great card. This one's not far off, to be honest, in terms of overall ability. It's a good sort of version of him. He's had a bit of a boost down the left. I'd have liked a bit more. Certainly, I'd like a bit more on passing, especially when he's not on A-form, because 81 low pass. I think I always say, a lot of people on an anchorman defensive midfielder don't really mind those attributes. Those will be fine for some people, because if you just want your defensive midfielder to sit in front of your defense and protect it. But for me personally, I like my midfielders, all my midfielders, to be able to pass the ball a bit better than that. So it's a bit low for me. When he's on A-form, it's kind of okay. Still, I'd like it to be a bit higher though. But again, I think for a lot of people that'll be fine. And down the middle there, pretty strong defensively. Down the right, physically very strong. You're going to hit 90 for physical contact with your game plan boost. Stamina's good. Everything's decent enough. Not great balance, but he's never got great balance. Unwavering form, and he can use them in the Spanish League Challenge. And then skill-wise, what has happened skill-wise? They've actually nerfed his defensive a bit. I just noticed that actually. Yeah, they've slightly nerfed his defensives. And the right column, I kind of forgot to carry on comparing to the GP guy, didn't I? So yeah, slight boost down the left, slight nerf to his defensives, and then on the right, bit of a boost to his pace and physical contact. Yeah, that's about it really. Skill wise, then what have they done? Again, it looks like Marseille turn's gone. I think we're gonna live without that on an anchorman. And rising shots. I'm assuming it's not eFootball lying and just telling me the same thing about every player. But yeah, it looks like Marseille turn and rising shots once again have been removed. Through passing is added. Excellent. That's a really nice addition. And blocker. Interesting. So the one skill that it's a shame we don't have is man marking ready. On an anchorman defensive midfielder, I would like to have man marking there, but blocker's a nice addition. Through passing is a nice addition. But yeah, good selection on the whole. I think the only one we're really lacking for a DMF is man marking really, and that is a bit of a miss for me personally. And I do think the passing is a bit on the low side, but that's just me personally. You might disagree if you don't. If you can live without man marking, and if you're going to be careful enough with the passing, you think the passing attributes are fine. Could be a good card for you. It's a good solid version of Tchouaméni. This as an anchorman just in front of the defence could be very handy. As a centre-back without an active playing style, as I found, that's one of the positions I have covered so far when in the videos I've done on players not having an active playing style. Centre-backs are basically played pretty much like a build-up. Defensively, those attributes are probably a bit iffy, but they're not terrible. And down the right there, physically is fine. Aerially, a bit of a question mark. So yeah, if you're desperate for a centre-back at any point, and you've got this guy in form, you've not got any centre-backs you fancy playing, you could get away with him as a centre-back. He could do a job where you obviously be fantastic down the left for a centre back when you get him on the ball, and he's got some good attributes there. A few negatives though. So yeah, it's a bit if he's a centre back, but he's got that position, and if you're really desperate, he could be an emergency centre back for you. As a centre mid, I don't think the passing is good enough. The attacking awareness sucks. He's not great on the ball. Does have through passing though. You could get away with him as a centre mid, but yeah, I think this guy is very much going to be a defensive midfielder. When he's got that A form boost, especially, it's a solid version of him. It's one of the better versions of Tchouaméni. Like I say though, for some people, including me, you might feel his passing is a bit on the low side, and I would like the man marking skill as well. So 1 and 2 slight negatives for me, but plenty of people will be okay with that and be able to live with those 2 slight negatives. And I think those people will be very happy to get this card because it's a good solid version of Tchouaméni. We don't get that many great anchorman cards. So yeah, if you don't have the match price version of Tchouaméni, it could be a very, very nice card to pick up if you get him. So there's your National Player of the Week pack. I think, to be honest, that's a fairly good pack. It's one of the better ones we've had in terms of the overall quality of it. As always, I don't agree with all the selections. I was really hoping we'd get Elliot Anderson, but apparently Reece James played better than Elliot Anderson, even though he didn't. He did play well though, Reece James, to be fair. But yeah, I think with Reece James and David Raum, you've got two kind of attacking fullbacks or wing backs. If you like your kind of wing backs or fullbacks to be good at crossing, those guys could both be pretty handy for you. You've got a few in here though, including Raum, where you don't have a club affiliation, and you might not be getting the live update as well. So there are some negatives with some of these cards. Retegui's one of them as well, but you got some solid cards there. You know, Staněk, however you say it, solid goalie. Depay, I think could be a pretty nice one for a lot of people. Like Raum and James, like I say, very attacking fullbacks could be pretty solid ones to have. Great crossing. Marino, I'm not sure I fancy him as a centre mid, but as a striker could be pretty interesting, and some people might really like him as a centre mid as well. Akanji is a solid centre back. Retegui might not be any club affiliation, might not be getting live up there anymore, but still a solid striker. I think that's a really nice Bruno card, but it's certainly a more offensive minded one than previous versions, but certainly a very good midfield card. De Bruyne, solid version of him. Tchouaméni likewise, and an interesting Messi, even if it's not the best. So yeah, some pretty decent cards in there. I think it's a solid pack. I don't think it's the most exciting one. Don't agree with all the decisions about who to include in the pack this week, but I mean, that's always the case, isn't it? I think it's solid enough on the whole. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. I'll be interested to know what you think of the pack. Let me know who you're planning to spin or who you have spun if you've done your spin already. I'm going to be doing a stream later today, and I was hopefully streaming again tomorrow as well, because there's a UFL update as well. I was hoping for another treasure link on eFootball, but no, apparently not. It's another boring week of content on the whole. But yeah, there will be 1-2 streams coming up. I'll review the new nominating contract cards as well, because we've got some new 5-star and 4-star nominating contract cards. So I'll get that review hopefully live, I would think tomorrow morning. But yeah, 1-2 videos and streams coming up. And jump in the Discord as well if you're not already in the Discord. Links on the channel page. So cheers for watching. Hopefully you found this useful as always. And I will see you very soon, hopefully. Take it easy.